The gravel crunches beneath our tires as Logan pulls into Mom's driveway. Through the car window, I watch the autumn leaves spiral down from the maple trees Dad planted 20 years ago. My stomach tightens. "Just dinner," I whisper, more to myself than to Logan. He squeezes my hand. "Just dinner," he echoes, but his eyes tell a different story. After 3 years together, he knows my mother's nice family dinners are rarely just that. Mom's house stands pristine, as always white trim freshly painted, walkway swept clean of leaves. She appears at the door before we reach it, wearing her pearl earrings and a smile that doesn't quite reach her eyes. "There's my girl," she says, embracing me with the faint scent of her signature Chanel. "And Logan, so good of you to come." The dining room glows with candlelight. Dad's portrait hangs over the sideboard, his eyes following us as we take our seats. The table is set with Mom's best china that she reserves for Christmas and funerals. "Where's Vanessa?" I ask, noticing the 3 place settings. "I thought this was family dinner." "She's running late," Mom says, straightening a fork that's already perfectly aligned. "Traffic, you know." I spot the box of tissues tucked beside her water glass. My throat tightens. Logan's hand finds mine under the table, warm and steady. Mom serves Dad's favorite meal pot roast with carrots and potatoes, the meal she made every Sunday until his heart gave out 6 years ago. "So," Mom says, pouring Merlot into crystal glasses, "I wanted to talk about some wedding complications that have come up." The wine splashes a little too high in her glass. She doesn't look at me. "What complications?" I ask. "We've had the date set for months." "I know, honey." She arranges her napkin in her lap. "But family traditions are. Your father always said weddings should be simple affairs." I take a sip of wine to keep from responding. Dad had said no such thing. He talked about my wedding day since I was 5 years old, spinning tales of fairy lights and dancing until dawn. "The thing is," Mom continues, her voice softening, "Vanessa is still so fragile after what happened with Eric." A calculated tear slides down her cheek. She dabs it away with a crisp white handkerchief. "Mom." 3 months, she interrupts. 3 months since he left her at the church. The invitations had been sent, the dress was fitted, and then, nothing. She shakes her head. "Her heart is still in pieces, Kara." I set my fork down. The roast turns to ash in my mouth. "What exactly are you asking?" Mom reaches across the table, her fingers cold against mine. "Would you consider postponing until next spring, or maybe just a courthouse ceremony? Something small, private?" The room tilts sideways. I close my eyes and suddenly I'm back in Riverside Gardens. Logan kneeling before me, his grandmother's diamond catching the late afternoon sun. His voice steady. "Kara Elizabeth Bennett, will you build a life with me?" That night, we'd marked the 12th of November on our shared calendar with a red heart. I'd called Mom immediately, words tumbling over themselves in my excitement. "That's nice, dear," she'd said. "We'll talk details later." The deposit for the garden venue $5,000 non-refundable dollars paid the following week. In the weeks since, I've listened to Mom's increasing comments about Vanessa's fragile state, watched her tuck our invitations beneath magazines on the coffee table, felt the weight of her sighs when I mentioned flower arrangements. "Kara," Mom's voice pulls me back. "It's about loyalty during hard times. Family comes first." Logan's jaw tightens beside me, but he remains silent, watching Mom's practice performance. The front door opens. Vanessa steps into the dining room, her timing impeccable. Her eyes are rimmed with red, her blonde hair pulled back in a severe ponytail. She looks fragile and wounded, exactly the image she wants to project. "Sorry I'm late," she says, not sounding sorry at all. She doesn't hug me or acknowledge Logan. "I couldn't find parking." She sits across from me, folding her hands on the table. I didn't want to have this conversation, but some of us need to think beyond our own selfish choices. Mom instantly reaches for Vanessa's hand. "It's okay, sweetheart. You're among family." Vanessa continues, never once saying my name. "November weddings are terrible anyway. So cold, so dreary." She glances at me. "I checked with your venue. Their cancellation policy isn't too harsh if you act now." The realization hits me like ice water. This isn't dinner. It's an ambush. I set my wine glass down with a decisive clink. My wedding, I say, each word deliberate, is happening in November as planned. Vanessa's mask slips. So my pain means nothing to you? After all I've sacrificed for you. Mom's voice rises. Logan stands, his hand finding mine. I rise beside him, surprised by the calm flowing through me. We're leaving now, I say, my voice steady. What would you do if your family asked you to put your happiness on hold because someone else's fell apart? Would you sacrifice your dream day to soothe someone else's pain? My next move changes everything. Mom's face transforms before my eyes. Her carefully crafted tears vanish, replaced by something harder, a tightness around her mouth that I recognize from childhood arguments with Dad. You're making a terrible mistake, she says, each word crisp and cold. Vanessa pushes back from the table. You were always Dad's favorite, always. He'd let you get away with anything. I flinch. The accusation isn't new, but it still lands with precision. Logan's arm tightens around my waist as we stand near the door, ready to leave. Uncle Robert and Aunt Jean agree with us, Mom says. So do your cousins. Nobody thinks this is appropriate timing. Vanessa steps closer, her perfume mingling with the lingering scent of pot roast. You've always been selfish. Even when we were kids, it was all about Kara. If you go through with this, I won't be there, Mom announces, her voice flat with finality. That's your choice, I manage, surprised by the steadiness in my voice. The drive home passes in silence. Streetlights flash across Logan's face, illuminating the muscle working in his jaw. I stare out the window at passing houses' families inside, eating dinner, watching television, living normal lives where mothers don't ambush their daughters. My phone buzzes at 6:17 the next morning. A text from Cousin Beth. Just heard about the wedding drama. Why would you do this to Vanessa after what she's been through? Mom said Aunt Denise is devastated. I sit up in bed, sleep evaporating. Another buzz. Vanessa's been crying for days. How hard would it be to just pick another date? Logan stirs beside me. What is it? I show him the phone, his eyes narrow as he reads. Days? We just had this conversation last night. The realization hits like ice water. She's been talking to everyone. For weeks. After Logan leaves for work, I drive to Mom's house on impulse, using the key she doesn't know I still have. The house is empty. Thursday is her volunteer day at the hospital gift shop. In her study, the drawer of her antique desk sticks as it always has. Inside, beneath a stack of insurance papers, I find the Moore wedding RSVPs. Envelopes opened, responses removed. Some marked with small pencil notes in Mom's handwriting, call later and might change. I check Instagram on the drive home. Vanessa's latest post shows her staring wistfully out a window, coffee mug in hand. The caption reads, "When someone you love chooses selfishness over compassion, it reveals who they truly are." 47 sympathetic comments below, 3 from our cousins. My phone rings. Mom's number. I don't answer. Her voicemail waits until I'm sitting in her parking lot, rain beginning to tap against the windshield. Kara, your sister is absolutely crushed. I hope you realize what you're doing to this family. Sleep on it. Make the right choice. I'm about to delete it when another message begins. Vanessa's voice, brittle with something that might be anger or tears or both. Maybe you'll get left at the altar too. Then you'd understand. That evening, I sit cross-legged on our living room floor, surrounded by wedding plans, invitation samples, vendor contracts, a timeline spreadsheet, the venue deposit receipt, $5,000 non-refundable paper clipped to a brochure showing autumn-colored maple trees surrounding a white gazebo. Logan places a mug of chamomile tea beside me, its steam carrying the scent of honey and lavender. He doesn't push for conversation, just sits nearby, his presence a counterbalance to the day's discoveries. I could push the date back, I say, the words tasting sour. You could, he agrees. Is that what you want? I trace my finger over a photo of our venue. It's what I've always done, made myself smaller, given Vanessa more room. The realization bubbles up from some deep, honest place inside me. Every birthday party, every holiday, every family dinner, I've spent my whole life shrinking for Vanessa. I reach for our framed save the date card and place it deliberately atop a stack of old family photos mom, dad, Vanessa, and me at the beach 15 years ago, all squinting into the sun. Not this time, I whisper. The decision settles into my bones, bringing unexpected peace. My phone rings Dad's sister, Aunt Carol. I heard what happened, she says without preamble. Your father would be proud of you, sweetie. He always said you had more backbone than anyone gave you credit for. After we hang up, Logan's parents call to offer their guest room for any displaced relatives. Then my best friend Mia texts that she's coming over with wine and bridal magazines. My youngest cousin Zach sends a message. You're doing the right thing. I'm with you. I hadn't realized how terrified I was of standing alone. The next morning, I draft the email 3 times before I'm satisfied. Professional, respectful, firm. Mom and Vanessa, after careful consideration, I want to be clear that our wedding will proceed on the 12th of November as planned. This date holds special meaning for Logan and me, and we've invested both emotionally and financially in this timeline. I understand Vanessa is going through a difficult time. I'm truly sorry for her pain. However, postponing our celebration won't heal her heartbreak, and it isn't fair to ask us to put our lives on hold. I love you both, but I've decided it would be best if you don't attend the wedding. The day should be filled with people who support our union wholeheartedly. When you're ready to respect my choices and boundaries, I'll be here. Love. Kara. My hands tremble as I hover over the send button. Logan stands behind me, his hands resting lightly on my shoulders. We deserve our day, I whisper and click send. Golden leaves dance around our feet as Logan and I walk the grounds of Riverside Gardens. The November breeze carries the scent of damp earth and wood smoke from a nearby fire pit. Look, I whisper, pointing to where the ceremony arch will stand. Late afternoon sun filters through the maple trees, casting a honey-colored glow across the clearing. That's our golden hour. Logan squeezes my hand. Perfect timing. His eyes hold mine, steady and sure. The wedding coordinator approaches with her clipboard. We follow her along the stone path where our guests will walk in 3 weeks' time. My phone stays in my pocket. I haven't checked it in over an hour. A small victory, Logan notices with a slight smile. 2 weeks ago, I couldn't go 15 minutes without scanning for texts from Mom or Vanessa. I was thinking white roses with sprigs of autumn berries and gold ribbon, I tell her. Here, planning our wedding feels right. Sacred, even. The chaos we left behind seems to belong to another life entirely. The calm doesn't last. Mom calls at 1:17 a.m., her words slurring at the edges. How could you shut out your own family? Her voice wavers between anger and tears. After everything I've given up for you girls. I sit up in bed, Logan stirring beside me. Mom, it's the middle of the night. Time doesn't matter when your daughter betrays you. We can talk tomorrow if you're sober. I hang up. Logan wraps his arm around my shoulders and I lean into him. My phone lights up again. I turn it face down. Did you hear what your cousin Meredith is saying? My friend Jackie asks as we arrange gift bags at my small apartment-based wedding shower. Several empty chairs surround us. Relatives who RSVP'd but never showed. I'm guessing it's not congratulations? I fold tissue paper into perfect peaks. She told people you disinvited your mother because she couldn't afford to contribute more to the wedding. The ache blooms in my chest. Maybe we should have just postponed, I whisper, the doubt finally escaping. Logan appears from the kitchen. 3 months would have become 6, then a year. His eyes meet mine, and it was never about the date. He sits beside me. It was about them believing they had the right to demand you shrink your joy to accommodate Vanessa's pain. Again. Jackie adjusts the veil in my hair as I stand in the bridal salon. The dress hugs my curves perfectly, the alterations finally complete. You look stunning, she says, voice thick with emotion. I'm so proud of you for doing this your way. What I don't say, Mom should be here, helping me into my gown, tearing up at the sight of me as a bride. Vanessa should be fussing with my train, making jokes to calm my nerves. It feels bittersweet, I admit, smoothing the fabric. Beautiful but incomplete, Jackie supplies. I nod, but then straighten my shoulders, looking at my reflection. For the first time in weeks, I don't look haunted. But it's mine, I say. This moment is still mine. Dad's grave sits beneath a massive oak tree. I place fresh flowers against the headstone, tracing the engraved letters of his name. I keep thinking about what you'd say. I tell him, my breath visible in the chilly morning air. About Mom, about Vanessa, about me standing my ground. Back home, I find myself opening his old desk drawer. That's when I find a card tucked inside an unmarked envelope. His handwriting, slightly slanted, fills the inside. For Kara, when you need it most. Live your truth, sweetheart. The people who truly love you will adjust their vision, not ask you to change yours. Your joy matters, claim it with both hands. All my love, Dad. I sink to the floor, the card pressed against my heart. 29 years of shrinking myself, of making room for everyone else's needs. No more. Yes, the 12th of November. I practice aloud, my voice growing stronger with each repetition. We're getting married the 12th of November. Logan brings me coffee each morning without being asked. He fields calls from vendors when I need space. He listens without trying to fix everything. You don't have to be so perfect. I tell him one evening as we address invitations. I'm not perfect, he responds, eyes crinkling. I'm just on your team. Jackie has appointed herself guardian of my peace. She screens calls, deflects uncomfortable questions from mutual friends, and shows up with wine when I need to vent. Gretchen asked if you were uninviting your entire family, she reports. I told her they uninvited themselves. Logan's mother calls every other day with small offers of help. I found these lovely pearl hairpins, she says. Something borrowed if you like. She never mentions Mom's absence, never asks invasive questions. She simply fills the gap without drawing attention to it. Even the venue coordinator has stepped up. Family dynamics, she said simply when I explained why our guest count had dropped. We'll adjust the seating chart. No extra charge. My phone buzzes with the text from my cousin Tess. Just so you know, Grandma Bennett's talking to your mom. Not sure what about, but thought you should know. That night, a card arrives forwarded from my old address. Inside, a gift certificate and a note. For after the wedding stress. Love you both, Aunt Deborah. Aunt Deborah, Mom's sister, who I assumed was firmly on her side. 3 days later, Aunt Grace mentions during a quick call, your mom seems different lately. Quieter. I don't respond, afraid to hope. When I check social media before bed, I notice something strange. Relatives who've been conspicuously silent have suddenly liked our engagement photos. Uncle Robert, who never engages online, has left a thumbs up on an image of Logan and me beneath the oak tree where he proposed. The following afternoon, the florist calls about final arrangements. Someone came by asking about your bouquet yesterday, she mentions. She looked like you, same eyes. Didn't leave a name, though. I hang up and stare out the window at the maples shedding their leaves in the wind. Something has shifted. I can feel it. Standing firm in my truth has changed something fundamental in my family's dynamic. But deep in my gut, a question remains: are they truly changing? Or is this the setup for a more elaborate trap? 3 weeks before the wedding, I spread the seating chart across our coffee table while Logan checks vendor confirmations on his phone. Centerpieces confirmed, he says, handing me chamomile tea. Cake tasting Tuesday at 4. I add it to our calendar, a simple red dot against white. No hearts anymore. Just appointments, reliable and steady. You know, Logan says, most brides would be frantic by now. Most brides aren't me. He tucks a strand of hair behind my ear. You've been handling this with so much grace. Something flutters in my chest knot, the tightness that's been my companion for months. But something lighter. The space that opens when you stop carrying what isn't yours. Cousin Martha's text arrives at dawn. Thinking of you, sweetie. So excited for your special day. I stare at it while brushing my teeth. Martha hasn't contacted me since she heard about the situation, as everyone calls it now. By Friday, 4 more relatives send nearly identical messages, warm but vague. At the grocery store, I'm comparing lines when someone calls my name. Mrs. Reynolds, Mom's bridge partner, appears at my elbow. Kara, what a coincidence, she says, eyes darting to my shopping cart. Your mother mentioned you were looking at those lovely centerpieces from Diane's Florals. Did you go with them? Please tell my mother that if she wants to know about my wedding, she can ask me directly. I leave Mrs. Reynolds standing between the Merlot and Chardonnay, mouth slightly open. That evening, an email arrives from Great Aunt Edith. Family disagreements are temporary, but regrets last forever. Perhaps it's time for reconciliation? I delete it without responding. Vanessa's Instagram has shifted. No more thinly veiled posts about betrayal. Now she shares black and white photos of empty park benches with captions like, "Healing isn't linear, and some bridges can be rebuilt." Logan notices me scrolling through her feed. You okay? They're changing tactics, I say, putting my phone down. From confrontation to guilt. Is it working? I consider this. No, but it's different. The package arrives 3 days later. No return address, but the handwriting is unmistakably Mom's. Inside lies Grandma Bennett's silver hairpin, the one she wore at her own wedding in 1953. No note, just the heirloom in a velvet box that smells faintly of cedar. I placed it on my dresser without telling Logan. The text from Mom arrives on a Tuesday. Can we meet for coffee? Just us. I read it 14 times while my tea grows cold. Logan finds me still staring at the screen when he returns from his run. She wants to meet, I say, showing him the message. What do you want to do? I don't know. You don't have to decide now. But I do. This limbo is exhausting harder in some ways than the clean break I'd imagined. I stare at the maple trees outside, their leaves turning gold and crimson, Dad's favorite time of year. I'll meet her, I decide, but on my terms. Public place, time limit, and you'll know exactly where I am. Logan nods. I'll support you either way. Just be clear on your boundaries. I type, Rosewater Cafe, Thursday at 2. I can stay for 30 minutes. Her response is immediate. I'll be there. Thank you, Kara. The cafe buzzes with afternoon customers. Mom sits at a corner table, hands wrapped around a mug, her pearl earrings catching the light. She looks smaller somehow, less certain than the woman who orchestrated that dinner ambush weeks ago. Thank you for coming, she says as I sit across from her. I order coffee I don't want, just to have something to do with my hands. Mom waits until we're alone. She takes a deep breath and meets my eyes directly. I was wrong. The words hang between us. I've imagined this conversation dozens of times, but never quite like this. After your father died, she continues, her voice steady but quiet. I think I lost my compass. Everything felt untethered. Vanessa's pain was something tangible I could fix. Or I thought I could. She smooths her napkin. I've been enabling her for years. It's hurt all of us, but especially you. I don't expect you to forgive me right away, she says. Or ever maybe, but I wanted you to know I see what I did now. She reaches into her purse and pulls out an envelope, sliding it across the table. Vanessa wanted you to have this. She wrote it herself. 3 times, actually, before she was satisfied. My fingers hover over my sister's hand, writing the looping cursive I used to envy in high school. She's not ready to see you, Mom says. But she's doing the work now. Real work, with a therapist. I slip the envelope into my bag without opening it. Inside, I know, Vanessa's handwriting fills 3 pages. A letter admitting her pain, her jealousy, perhaps even that she rushed into marriage to compete with me. Mom watches me carefully. Your wedding is going to be beautiful, Kara. With or without us there. For the first time in years, the silence between us isn't heavy with expectation. Just possibility. The envelope weighs in my bag. After everything, would I welcome my family back at my wedding day? Or protect my peace and move forward without them? I don't know the answer yet, but for the first time, I feel like either choice could be right. The kitchen clock reads 2:17 a.m. Logan sits across from me at our tiny breakfast table, his reading glasses perched on the end of his nose. Between us, Vanessa's letter lies open, The 3 pages spread flat under the glow of the pendant light. "What are you thinking?" Logan asks, his voice gentle in the stillness of our apartment. I run my finger along the edge of page 2, where Vanessa's handwriting grew smaller, as if she'd been afraid of running out of space for all she needed to say. I don't know what to think. My stomach knots itself tight, then unravels. Relief tangles with hurt, hope wrestles with hesitation. Part of me wants to believe her. Logan removes his glasses, folds them carefully. The question isn't whether you believe her, it's what you want to do with that belief. I push away from the table and cross to the living room window. November moonlight spills over the rooftops. Our wedding is 16 days away. We need boundaries, I say finally. The word tastes strange on my tongue for 29 years. The Bennett family vocabulary never included it. Clear ones. Logan retrieves a notepad from the counter. Like what? No drama, I begin, watching my breath fog the glass. No making the day about Vanessa's broken engagement. No guilt trips from Mom. Logan writes each item down in his precise handwriting. The scratch of pen on paper fills the silence. They need to respect our choices, the venue, the guest list, everything we've planned. My voice grows stronger with each word, and I need emotional space. No suffocating hugs or tearful reunions until I'm ready. He nods, continuing to write. What if they can't do these things? I ask, turning back toward him. Logan sets the pen down. Then they don't come. That simple? Not simple. He reaches for my hand. But necessary. Forgiveness doesn't erase what happened, Kara. It just reshapes what happens next. I squeeze his fingers, warm and solid in mine. For the first time, I glimpse the possibility that healing might exist, not in forgetting the ambush dinner or the weeks of hurt that followed, but in choosing my own peace regardless. The next morning, I draft the email 3 times before sending it. My laptop screen glows with carefully chosen words appreciative of their letter, firm about my expectations. The wedding will proceed as planned on the 12th of November. You're both welcome to attend, but only if you can come with kindness and respect. I list the boundaries Logan and I discussed, my fingers trembling slightly as I type. This isn't about erasing what happened, it's about moving forward in a way that honors everyone, including myself. I hover over the send button for a full minute before clicking. Mom's response arrives before I've closed my laptop. My dearest Kara, your father would be proud of the woman you've become. I haven't been. I let my grief cloud my judgment, and I've been unfair to you for far too long. I promise to honor your wishes. I'll be there, standing tall and dry-eyed, celebrating the beautiful life you and Logan are building. With love and deepest gratitude for this second chance. Mom. I read it twice, searching for the manipulative undertones I've learned to detect. Finding none, I set my laptop aside and wait for the tears I expect, but they don't come. Instead, a curious lightness spreads across my shoulders. Vanessa's reply arrives 2 days later, a single line that makes me smile despite myself. I'm still not sure I can face it, but thank you for leaving the door open. The garden venue glows with autumn warmth when we arrive for the rehearsal. String lights twine through maple branches. Candles and hurricane lanterns line the stone pathway. The florist has outdone herself with arrangements of rust-colored mums and golden roses. Logan's parents greet mine with cautious warmth. Mom stands just slightly back, her hands clasped at her waist, neither demanding attention nor shrinking away. When a cousin arrives with a question about seating, I brace myself. But Mom simply directs her to Logan's mother. Janet's handling that part, she says with a smile that reaches her eyes. She's doing a wonderful job. At the rehearsal dinner, Mom rises unexpectedly during the salad course. My fork freezes halfway to my mouth. Logan's hand finds my knee under the table. To Kara and Logan, she says, raising her glass, her voice quiet but steady. May your love be stronger than the storms that shaped it. Simple. Sincere. No dramatic speeches, no tears. Just 12 words that acknowledge both our joy and the difficult path we've traveled. Later, I spot Logan's parents inviting Mom to help with final adjustments to the seating chart. A small olive branch extended from their side. She accepts with graceful restraint, not overstepping or trying to take control. Uncle Robert corners me by the dessert table, his bourbon-scented breath hot against my ear. Shame about Vanessa not being here, he mutters, loud enough for nearby guests to hear. Family should stick together no matter what. The table around us tenses. Conversations halt mid-sentence. I hold my breath, waiting for Mom to agree, to use this moment to remind me of my sister's pain. Instead, her voice cuts through the awkward silence. This week isn't about loss, Robert. She sets her coffee cup down with quiet firmness. It's about joy, and Kara deserves every bit of it. The air shifts. I meet Mom's eyes across the table, seeing something I've searched for my entire life, her choosing me, publicly and without qualification. After Uncle Robert mumbles an apology and retreats, Mom finds me alone by the coat check. Our hug is brief, almost hesitant. Not a full repair of 3 decades of complex dynamics, but a bridge stretched cautiously between us. The morning of the wedding, I'm reviewing my vows when a knock interrupts. My maid of honor opens the door to a florist assistant, carrying the most exquisite bouquet deep crimson peonies. White calla lilies bound with golden ribbon. Who sent these, I ask, but she just hands me a small card. Be happier than I was. I mean it. No signature needed. My throat tightens as I carry the bouquet to the memorial table we've set up for Dad. I placed Vanessa's flowers beside his photo, the 3 of us at the lake house, summers ago, before grief and jealousy complicated everything. We're not there yet, Dad, I whisper to his smiling face. But we're trying. The November sun breaks through morning clouds, sending golden light across the garden where Logan waits for me. In 30 minutes, I'll walk toward him, toward our future. For now, I stand alone with my father's memory and my sister's unexpected gift, grateful for this moment of perfect, imperfect peace. Morning light spills through the curtains, casting golden strips across the dressing room floor. I lean toward the mirror, watching as Ellie pins tiny white flowers into my hair. Almost done, she says, sliding in one more pearl-tipped pin. You're trembling. A soft knock breaks the moment. The door hinges creak, and Mom stands in the threshold, her hands twisting around a small cloth bag. May I? Her voice lacks its usual command. I nod. Ellie slips out with whispered promises to check on boutonnieres. Mom steps inside, the scent of Chanel trailing her. You look like him, she whispers. Your father would have been speechless. My eyes burn. 6 years gone, and Dad still occupies the space between us. She crosses the distance first, her arms opening. Our embrace feels foreign and familiar, decades of complexity suspended in this breath. I brought something. She opens the cloth bag. Mom's handkerchief. One corner bears a pale blue embroidered flower. Something blue, I say. 60 guests sit among golden leaves and white roses. November sunlight filters through the maple branches, dappling the garden path. I wait at the edge, watching Logan take his place. The quartet begins. Each face I pass smiles with genuine warmth. Mom sits in the front row, understated in navy blue. When I reach Logan, his eyes fill with tears. He takes my hands, steadying their tremble with his familiar warmth. The celebrant's voice carries across the garden. We gather to celebrate love that endures all seasons. The wind rustles softly through the trees, sending a shower of golden leaves spiraling down around us. During the reception, I notice a shift near the entrance. Vanessa wears a simple blue dress, her expression vulnerable. In her hand, she clutches the friendship bracelet I made her when we were teenagers. I move toward her. Each step feels like crossing a bridge still under construction. I lift 2 champagne flutes from a passing server and offer her one. No words yet, just eye contact. Breath, forgiveness in progress. Later, Mom taps her glass, rising slowly. The garden quiets. I didn't always get it right, she says, her voice steady, words carefully chosen. But I never stopped loving you, Kara. She speaks of my strength, of Dad's pride. The crowd listens in stillness, no tension now, only emotion. Her toast ends with laughter and tears. It feels real, not rehearsed. At dusk, Guests write wishes on paper lanterns. Mom, Vanessa, Logan, and I gather near the small pond, lighters in hand. There's room for both our stories now, I tell Vanessa quietly as we touch flame to wick. Our 4 lanterns rise first golden light, drifting upward into twilight. Dozens more follow, a constellation of hopes climbing into the darkening sky. Our first dance unfolds under fairy lights. No speeches, just connection. I glance around at the faces. The tension from weeks ago has dissolved into calm warmth. From the corner of my eye, I spot Vanessa joining a circle of distant cousins on the dance floor. Her movements tentative but welcomed. The photographer captures a moment I don't notice until later. Mom, Vanessa, and me, heads tilted back in genuine laughter. As we drive away through an arch of sparklers, I look back at the garden glowing behind us. My family stands together, arms raised in farewell. Not perfectly healed, not completely whole but trying. And for tonight, that's enough. In the car, Logan squeezes my hand. Happy? I rest my head on his shoulder, watching the sparkler light fade in the distance. Yes. Finally, yes.